Birmingham City put out these messages and tweets. Turn up to the ground. Let's bring the noise. Let's bring the passion. Let's be the 12th man. Well, we need 11 other men first before we can be the 12th man. We need people on that pitch that are going to represent the club. They're going to wear the shirt with pride and they're going to fight for us.
So welcome back to Small Heath Alliance FC. And last night, Birmingham City lost 1-0 at home to Cardiff City in a really, really disappointing display. I don't know how many times we can say on this podcast that we need some leadership, we need some commitment, and we need some passion. And as the home team, we only registered 3 shots in total with 1 on target. Completely unacceptable and not good enough if we want to get out of this relegation battle. But let's get into it. And Dad, it's been about 12 hours now since the game last night. What are your reflections on the game, and are we now in some serious trouble?
So we were at the ground last night, Matt, and it was not a great journey coming home. And I'm sure most Blues fans who were at that game and actually saw the display would be completely demoralised and disheartened. And normally after a match, you obviously go to bed, you wake up and you reflect. And I actually woke up this morning feeling just as depressed, just as frustrated, and actually angry this morning at what I'd actually watched during that game.
Same here.
Because we're not demonstrating that we're a team that is battling for our lives at the bottom of the championship, fighting for relegation. Now, you referenced that we had 3 shots in total. Actually, stats say 12, but that means that it was 1 on target, 2 off target, and 9 blocked. That's not good enough. You think in a relegation scrap, our team would show more desire to try and push teams to press teams, and you can't get out of a relegation battle if you don't have shots on goal, let alone, dare I say, score goals. It's absolutely crazy, and I feel so let down once again. I am so frustrated.
85th minute, we're 1-0 down, we're at home, we're passing it along the side of the back line.
Yeah.
What is going on? We should be hitting the bar, playing it through balls. It was so frustrating to watch. We don't look like a team capable of scoring goals at all, do we? I mean, we pose no threat in the final third of the pitch. It's just really embarrassing. And last night was painful to watch in that regard. And, we're too nice. We're too passive. We say this all the time, don't we? I mean, we cannot say on this podcast, if you're a regular viewer of the show, we always say, we don't need Robbo on the training staff. We need Robbo on the pitch.
Yeah.
We need Stephen Carr. We need Robbie Savage. We have no leadership. We have no one in that team that can grab the players, rally them up, and just keep spurring them on. I mean, Ethan Laird likes to get the crowd rallied up, and he's quite boisterous in that regard. But actually, that's frustrating fans now, because why are we turning up? Why are we paying our hard-earned money? And you're getting us to rally up, and we're 1-0 down, we're second bottom, and there's no passion, no fight, no desire, no goals being scored.
Well, Birmingham City put out these messages and tweets. Turn up to the ground. Let's bring the noise. Let's bring the passion. Let's be the 12th man. Well, we need 11 other men first before we can be the 12th man. We need people on that pitch that are going to represent the club. They're going to wear the shirt with pride and they're going to fight for us. And it's all right sort of giving messages from the Blues club to say, "Oh, come." The fans were there. The fans tried their best to get behind the club, but it's so difficult as a fan trying to display, the passion that you want the players to sort of receive on the pitch when they're giving back absolutely nothing to us.
Yeah. Absolutely. And the thing is, it's not even like, as I said, we're in the game and we're creating chances. We're not even doing the basics.
No.
Poor passing, sloppy decision making. And Dad, me and you, we've got I've got 2 young kids. I've got a full-time job. I pay my hard-earned money to go and watch this club. I feel like we're borderline being disrespected as a fan base now. And we said this a couple of matches ago. We put all into the club. It really affects our mood. Like, me and you have turned up this morning really down, really quite angry. And last night was just not good enough.
No,
in all areas,
No.
It just was not good enough. And I don't know what Rabbit does from here. How do we get out of this? I mean, there's been some conversations on social media about maybe trying some youth players, maybe giving Donovan and Dixon some time, because how can it get any worse?
That's one of my points.
And the under-21s are currently top of the table, so there's clearly some leadership and some passion in there. Let's get some younger players on the pitch, because those starting 11, it's not working. They're not working hard enough. They're not battling for the shirt. And to be honest, That aside, they're not doing the basics. The quality isn't there, and we just don't look like scoring. And if we turn up to Rotherham and Huddersfield the way we turned up last night, they'll beat us. We're not going to pick up a single point for the rest of the season if we turn up like we turned up last night.
Yeah, totally. The players look scared to me. I mean,
Lack of confidence.
It is a lack of confidence, and the fact is that they seem to be prepared to want to get rid of the ball as quickly as they can. I don't care if they play it sideways or backwards. They just don't want to have that ball. They just don't want it, and they are not showing that responsibility or commitment to actually do anything with it.
It's funny you say that. Just to quickly interject, I saw in the midst of my low mood last night, one comment which did make me laugh was, it's like we're playing grenade football. Like the football's a grenade. No one wants to touch it. No one wants to go near it. It's like we're getting rid of it as quickly as we can. We don't want to go near it. And there's no one who actually wants to be on the ball, go and attack players, move through the lines. There's no one there who's just going to grab this game for us and take us and get us a goal, get us a win. I mean, let alone 3 points. I can't see where our next goal's coming from.
Not playing like that.
No.
Not playing like that. And one thing that summed everything up for me last night was the throw-ins. When we had a throw-in, there was literally no movement. The Birmingham City players were strolling around, and the person who was getting frustrated was taking the throw because they were going. There was no options, and the players are just giving this laissez-faire type of attitude, just strolling around. And you think when we get a throw in, just run, zip, try and get into positions, but do it. But literally, I mean, I'm not going to name players because I think that there's nobody that came out of that game with any credit at all, really. No. I think that all of them collectively have to once again take responsibility for this. And Gary Rowett said it in his post-match press conference. They're the only ones who can actually do anything about this. Gary Rowett and his team can say whatever they like to these players, but they are the ones that have got to implement it. So they've got to show the passion. They've got to show the drive. I don't know if you saw Ethan Laird's post-match interview, which I just watched before I came out.
He argued they gave everything.
I don't get that. I think okay, there was a few slide tackles here and there, but that's the professional footballers. You expect that for 90 minutes, and everybody needs to show that type of passion. But he was saying that they're confident they can get out of it, and I'm going to be bluntly honest here. Leaving that Cardiff game that we watched last night for the very first time this season, I've always felt that we could get out of this. But I don't know, based upon that performance, how on earth we've got a possible chance if we turn up like that again for these remaining 4 games. We have got no chance.
No.
Because the teams we're playing, with respect, are going to be better than Cardiff. I'm talking about the home games,
Coventry and Norwich.
And the Norwich, and they're the home games. Our away form as well. We're playing Huddersfield, who are in the same position in terms of battling for their lives like us, but we're away. And Rotherham, who are already relegated. But our away form, you see, we've won 3 and drawn 3 and lost the rest of them this season. So our away form is terrible as well. So there's no confidence at the moment, based upon that performance, that we have any possibility of getting out of this, which is so disappointing. It really is.
No, I'm exactly the same. And I want to pick up on your point because it's really important, about the movement and the throw-ins. And someone, again, commented on social last night, why does Lee Buchanan take so long to take a throw-in? And then there was literally 30, 40 comments below it going, well, no one's moving for him. No one's making the movement. He can take as long as he likes, but what's he going to do? He might as well throw it out and give it straight back to the other team. No one's moving for him. And if you look at the other team, when they get a throw-in or a corner, they've got little tactics and strategies. They hunch as a bud, and then they break out, or they're moving like a swarm of bees, or they've got different strategies with movement, because that's football. You've got to entice the opposition to move out of position so you can then move through. We don't move.
No.
And the Blues fans, I don't know how you felt, Dad, being in St.Andrews last night. I felt the anger. I felt the Blues fans turning in the context of make some moves, move for the player. It was so frustrating to watch. And we're too predictable.
Yep.
And we're not good enough to play out from the back style of football. I know playing out from the back is this modern style of football. For one, it's not for me. It gives me a heart attack every time we play out from the back, but I think that's because we don't have the quality players to do it. But how many times did we see Sanderson or Iwo? Fair enough, they were gunning like 10, 15 yards. Turned. Safe pass to the left, safe pass to the right, backwards. Yeah. And when Mowbray came in, he said he can't stand that horseshoe style of football around the back. He really wanted to avoid doing that. And that's exactly what we saw last night. Passing to the side, passing back, passing forward. There was no confidence. There was no grabbing the game and moving forward. And I'm with you, Dad. And, again, Blues fans, when you watch this channel, we're definitely a glass half full, optimistic Blues fans. I mean, look at my score prediction. That's just embarrassing now when I look back in hindsight. But we're in trouble.
Yeah.
And I feel it. And we're second bottom. I don't know where, let alone our next 3 points are coming from. I genuinely going to repeat myself. I don't see where our next goal's coming from. And we're in a really bad state.
We've been saying for weeks, haven't we, that Sanderson not Sanderson, sorry, Stansfield needs help up front. To be fair to him, he runs around, but he's just one player up front, all on his own, effectively having a whole sort of back four to try and sort of deal with as he buzzes around. But he needs somebody up there to support him, because otherwise we're not going to score goals. And if you don't score goals, clearly you're not going to win games.
Yeah.
You don't win games, no points. And the ultimate outcome of that.
I mean, the one player, and by the way, this wasn't necessarily a good performance, but I thought Miyoshi, bless him, was trying. He was on the ball, he was running, he was trying to make passes through, but no one was moving for him again and again. He didn't have a great game. I'm just making the point of, even when we get into decent attacking positions, no one else is moving down the channels. No one else is doing those nice little runs. And I made a conscious decision last night to look at our team in terms of conversation, talking. Our players don't talk to each other. Sanderson, the captain, I heard him shout once at the players. That was it. The only person who actually shouted and was generally was Stansfield. He had a go at a couple of players because he kept trying to make runs and they weren't spotting him. But as a team, if you looked at Cardiff, they were shouting at each other, they were communicating, they were going, you drop in here, you do this, you do that. Our team is just like 11 strangers having a kickabout on a Sunday morning.
You mentioned Sanderson, and he's our captain, so I think it's right we can have a little say on him. When that goal went in, he literally was on his knees with his hands in his thing when they scored. I don't want to see that for my captain.
No,
that's not a leader to me. That I don't want to see. So I want him to rally the players up, or at least go over to somebody and say, well, you need to cover that. Although he was part of the problem actually for the goal. I don't want to see that for my captain, and I want to see a captain that's going to sort of pull our players up and that's going to give them some confidence. And so in my opinion, I don't think he's captain material at all.
Have you ever seen Roy Keane standing in the middle of the pitch on his knees with his hands in his with his head in his hands? No, you've never seen it. He's up there.
I've seen him stand with somebody else's head in his hands.
I've seen him punch people, and I've seen him. Exactly. I've seen him get amongst it and have nasty moments, but I've never seen him feeling sorry for himself on the floor with his head in his hands. Come on, you have to step up as a captain of the club, captain of the team. They need leadership. They need someone to step up. And I agree. I don't want this to be a Sanderson bashing session, but he's not good enough as a captain for me.
No.
And for me as well, it's such a shame. I don't feel like those 11 players are connected to the club. We've just had a brilliant open house. Wagner has just told us about all these exciting plans. I was buzzing Monday night. I was borderline emotional.
I'm sure most Blues fans were also feeling exactly the same.
I was borderline emotional with the positivity of the club, the direction, all the stuff he was talking about. And then these 11 players come out like they're not even connected to the club anymore. It's like got such positivity off the pitch, but on the pitch it's so disappointing. And we're in real trouble, and we've got Coventry on Saturday. If we turn up like we turned up last night to Cardiff, Coventry are going to do us 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think so. I think because Coventry are a much faster, pacier team than Cardiff. Just one final thing on the substitutions. I noticed in social media as well that a few people have been criticising the substitutions. Saying, well, why did you bring Miyoshi off and Keshi Anderson on? But I think in defence of Gary Rowett, he's working with what he's got, and I think that he hasn't got any real big options on the bench. I think literally the whole point of his substitutions is saying, well, this isn't working. I need to try and get some fresh legs on. I think that's pretty much as his thought process must be when he's making subs.
Yeah.
And when we see the likes of Scott Hogan and Gary Gardner come on, you know that is the game's up when that's happening.
Yeah, you're right. No, I'm not criticising Gary Rowett. I'm not criticising the subs choices. We have no squad depth.
It's a big problem in it, and a big disappointment. And as I say, for the rest of the season now, we literally have got 4 games to go, and unless there is some miraculous turnaround by these players, we are in deep trouble here. And I'm so frustrated as a Blues fan because we, like you say, we talk about a roller coaster. We have the euphoria of the open house and seeing these plans for our future, and then suddenly you go to St.Andrews at Knighthead Park and you see a performance like that, and suddenly the roller coaster goes from up there to actually in the basement. And our feelings and emotions are just ruined all the time, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. And I really want to hit that point home, Dad. You mentioned it about midway through this conversation. I think it's really important, and I want to address it to the Blues team, the Blues social media channels. The fans tried their hardest last night to get behind the team. There was songs. There was pockets of quiet. Of course, there is. We're 1-0 down to Cardiff at home in a relegation battle. But generally speaking, we tried our very best to get behind the team last night. But what you said is so poignant. We can only be the 12th man if the other 11 turn up in the first place.
Yeah.
And we need to start getting better performances if we're going to have any chance of staying up in this league.
Well, what Tom Wagner says in the open house that he wants to fill a large stadium, and he actually said he knows in order to do that he needs to get what he calls a product on the pitch that the fans will keep wanting to come back to. You will know, Tom Wagner, that what you saw last night, because you were there as well, that wasn't good enough. You know that. We know that you know that. So when we are recruiting in the summer, we know there's going to be a big turnaround, whether we're in League One or in the Championship. Please make sure that the recruitment team are looking at the character of the players as well as their ability, because we need fighters and we need battlers in this time, which we haven't got at the moment, which in my opinion is a big reason why this is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. But Blues fans, what do you think? We'd love to hear from you. In fact, I can already predict what some of these comments are coming in because you've been keeping us well informed over the past few months. And I know there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of negativity. I think a lot of us are now in genuine fears that we are staring down the barrel of League One. And I know there's a couple of loyal supporters to the channel who have made those comments before. And, we do hear it, we do see it. And, as I say, we've tried to keep it positive on this channel. We really have. But after what we saw last night, we really are facing some trouble now. But as I say, Blues fans, we'd love to hear from you. Please drop us a comment in the section below with your thoughts on last night's game. Are we now really seriously in trouble? And if you did like this video, please help us with the algorithm. Please give it a thumbs up. And please follow us on our X pages and our Instagram pages with the handles popping on screen now. And don't forget, if you haven't already, to subscribe to our YouTube channel to not miss all about Blues. And me and Dad will see you on the next video.